What up, Bugles? I want to welcome you to this video and to our Comics Bugle channel, your go-to spot for everything Omnibus and oversize. What did us feel like when the fate of the whole multiverse hangs in the threat? When the justice stands against doom? This is Justice League by Scott Snyder and James Tynion for Omnibus Volume 2. Cover price is 125 USD and the book has 896 pages. This omnibus collects Justice League issues 19 to 39 and miniseries The Batman Who Lost and Hell Arisen. It's the bridge between Snyder's earlier arcs and the madness of Dark Knight's death metal, a crescendo in his symphony of the DC Universe multiversal escalation. The front cover explodes with energy and power, showcasing the League in full heroic stance. Superman stands at the center, radiating confidence and hope, while Flash, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and the rest of the team are caught in action in a burst of light and motion. The artwork captures the larger-than-life scale of the story, bold, dynamic, and unapologetically epic. The back cover perfectly complements the front, balancing chaos and unity. On one side, the ominous Lex Luthor looms large in his apex predator form, symbolizing the rise of doom. On the other, we see the full roster of heroes ready to face the cosmic threats of Perpetua, a visual promise of the Justice vs. Doom war that defines this saga. Of course, a short summary of the stories and the list of the issues included, they can't be missing. The spine ties it all together with a clean, bold design. The bright yellow Justice League logo pops against the dark background, making it instantly recognizable on any shelf. It's a spine that commands attention, just like the epic story it contains within, and you can bet it looks great next to the first volume. The boards are split into separate front and back art. To my disappointment, the front art and spine design are completely identical to those on the dash jacket, except that the front border replaced the Justice League logo with Hawkgirl. Other than that, it's exactly the same artwork, which feels like a rather lazy and uninspired choice from DC Comics. The backboard, on the other hand, bursts with a cosmic intensity, showcasing Lex Luthor and the Legion of Doom reaching toward a blinding source of unimaginable power. It perfectly captures the essence of Snyder's Justice League: ambition, conflict, and the desperate struggle between justice and doom. When we open the book, we are greeted by an opening page featuring a logo of Justice League with Batman Who Lost lurking in background. This is followed by a grand double-page credit spread, where, except again Batman Who Lost, we find the names of everyone who worked on the material collected in this omnibus. Then comes the table of contents with all details like page numbers, story titles, and even the original release date of the single issues. I love that DC Stars included these in table of contents. And next are stories itself. When you hold this book in your hands, you are holding a turning point, a sweeping, brutal, and gorgeously ambitious saga that carries the weight not only of its own story, but of all that came before and all that lies ahead. The heart of this volume beats around two core threads: Perpetua, the cosmic mother of the multiverse, and the machinations of Lex Luthor in his apex predator form. The League, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, and others is caught in the crossfire of cosmic rebirth, villainous ambition, and multiversal warfare. At first glance, the story seems like pure spectacle: aliens, gods, cosmic terrors. But what Snyder and Tynion do best is ground the spectacle in human stakes: grief, loyalty, legacy, and the question of whether even gods can be defeated. This volume begins with a six-dimension arc, which is Scott Snyder at his most cosmic, his most imaginative, and arguably his most ambitious since Dark Knight Metal. It begins with the League seeking answers beyond the known multiverse. The source wall is broken, Perpetua's influence grows, and the heroes are running out of options. The mysterious sixth dimension, a realm said to be where gods dream reality into existence, becomes their last hope. With the World Forger acting as their guide, the Justice League glimpses a perfect future where everything has been solved, except it's a built on lie. This world is utopia, maintained by the total control, and Superman finds himself imprisoned in a cold void where hope is tested to its limit. This storyline brilliantly mirrors the eternal struggle between hope and despair, creation and destruction. Snyder uses the concept of the sixth dimension to explore what ultimate justice really means, and whether peace built on manipulation can ever be true peace. The art by Jorge Jimenez is nothing short of stunning, delivering sprawling cosmic vistas and emotional close-ups that hit with equal force. By the end, the League's faith in their mission and in themselves is shaken to the core. This sixth dimension arc isn't just the highlight of Snyder's Justice League. It's one of the boldest and most visual breathtaking DC stories of the last decade. No discussions here. This omnibus isn't complete without the Batman Who Loves miniseries, which is next in order. Snyder took what he began with Dark Knight Metal and deepened it. Here, the Batman Who Loves is no mere villain of chaos. He becomes the architect of doom, working hand in glove with Perpetua's comics plot. This is Snyder's second best Batman story after Black Mirror, and that's no small praise. He leans into the horror and speculation, showing how Bruce's greatest strength, his mind, can also be his undoing when it's twisted. The Grim Knight issue plays like a dark mirror. Who would Batman become under different moral pressures? It's a sharp reflection of themes echoing through the entire omnibus: corruption, choice, and what happens when good men fall. Jock's artwork in The Batman Who Loves is a visual masterclass in tension and atmosphere. His gritty line work and stark contrast between shadow and light perfectly capture the horror-driven paranoia of Snyder's script. Every panel feels alive with dread, making Gotham look like a nightmarish maze where sanity itself is slipping away. I love that this miniseries is included in this omnibus. Even at the first glance, it might look like odd choice. It's a crucial part of the overall story Snyder's telling us. Thematically, Volume 2 probes ideas of justice, entropy, doomsday, and choice in a collapsing multiverse. Who gets to decide what is just when everything is under threat? If the universe itself is bending, how do you fight for something that might vanish? Snyder and Tynion push characters into moral corners. How much can you sacrifice for victory? When does villainy become the only option? And what does it mean to stand even when all possible futures seems doomed? And now, let's talk about Jarro. And everybody loves Jarro. He might just be the most unexpectedly lovable character to come out of Snyder's and Tynion's Justice League run. A tiny, heroic clone of Starro the Conqueror, Jarro began as a bizarre experiment in Batman's care. A small starfish kept in a jar inside the Batcave, but quickly grew into something much greater: the League's emotional heart. He calls Batman Dad, dreams of being the best Robin ever, and somehow managed to bring warmth and humor into a story otherwise defined by cosmic despair and existential stakes. What makes Jarro so brilliant is that he's both parody and sincerity rolled into one. He's adorable, funny, and absurd, but he's also a reminder that even the strangest being in the DC universe can find redemption and purpose. When the world is falling apart and gods are battling in the skies, Jarro's optimism cuts through the chaos, proof that hope really can come in the smallest, weirdest packages. If I really had to point out some flaws, then there are moments where the plot feels overstuffed, threads that don't fully resolve, and pacing that teeters between epic and exhausting. But within that chaos is a vision, bold, unapologetic, and confident. Explosive crescendo of Snyder and Tynion's Justice League run is the Justice Doom War, a massive, time-bending conflict that brings every threat, every idea, and every emotion from the series together into one grand finale. With Perpetua finally freed and Lex Luthor reborn as her champion, the cosmos itself descends into war. The multiverse is divided between those fighting for justice and those consumed by doom, and the Justice League has never faced higher stakes. This is storytelling on a mythic scale. Snyder and Tynion sent the Justice League across time and space to recruit allies from every possible era, from the Justice Society of America in the past to the Legion of Superheroes in the far future. It's a celebration of DC's legacy and its limitless scope. Every page radiates urgency, especially with Jorge Jimenez's kinetic cinematic artwork making each clash feel monumental. The emotional center lies in the League's conviction that even when everything seems lost, hope and unity can still overcome despair and chaos. Now I'm going to the spoilers area, so if you don't want to know any specific informations about finale, just skip this video to the time you see on screen, please. Okay, are you ready? I already warned you. Let's go. Justice Doom War also embraces tragedy. Despite their courage and sacrifice, the League ultimately fails to stop Perpetua. The story ends not in the truth, but in holding suspense. As they vanish into mysterious light, their fate uncertain. It's a cliffhanger that bridges directly into the events of Hell Arisen and Dark Knight's Dead Metal. The message is clear. The war between justice and doom is eternal, and sometimes even heroes must fall before the dawn. So, as I already said, Hell Arisen acts as the missing link between Snyder's Justice League and his next multiversal epic, Dark Knight's Dead Metal. Written by James Tynion IV, it shows what happens after the Justice League's defeat, when Perpetua reigns supreme and her most loyal servant, Lex Luthor, faces an unexpected threat, the Batman who loves. This twisted remnant of the Dark Multiverse refuses to kneel to anyone, not even a cosmic goddess. What unfolds is a battle between two devils for control of evil itself. Lex Luthor, infused with perpetuity and gold-blade power, finds his empire challenged by the Batman who loves growing infection, the spreading corruption that twists heroes into their worst selves. Tynion uses the story to shift focus from cosmic scale back to intimate horror and psychological warfare. By the end, the Batman who loves gains the upper hand, positioning himself as the architect of what comes next. Hell Arisen doesn't just close the Justice League saga, it detonates it, transforming its themes of justice and doom into something darker and more chaotic. When the dust settles, the stage is perfectly set for Dead Metal, where the multiverse itself will scream. Now, spoilers are over, so let's move on. On these sidelines, fans have long speculated about how much input Editorial had on the cosmic direction. There's talk that Snyder and Tynion needed to balance that metal build-up with satisfying League storytelling. Some fans criticize that these issues leans too much into spectacle and crossover requirements, but most agree that the creative team managed to balance continuity, character, and ambition better than many even comics do. For me, this is a run to love deeply. Snyder's and Tynion's Justice League stands in my top 3 Justice Leagues run, next to Grant Morrison's run and New 52 Justice League. It's ambitious, messy, inspiring, and frequently breathtaking. Anyone who loves a cosmic league, the kind that isn't just caves and punches but world-shattering stakes, must have this omnibus. You feel the weight of the multiverse, the desperation, the heroism, and above all, the belief that even in the face of doom, the League stands. That's the story Snyder and Tynion wanted to tell, and in Volume 2, they tell it at a full tilt. The extras bring more than 50 pages of bonus content, which is quite a generous amount. Most of it consists of a rich cover gallery filled with variant covers by a wide range of artists, and fans will find some truly spectacular pieces here. In addition, the extras include classic sketches and design concepts for characters, pages, panels, and covers, offering a unique glimpse behind the creative curtain of the talented artists who brought this round to life. And that's all. Justice League by Scott Snyder and James Tynion Ford Omnibus Volume 2 is a must-have collection for every DC fan who craves universe-shattering events and want to see the ultimate war between justice and doom. This is the essential part of the Batman Who Loves storyline, which leads directly into the events of Dark Knight's Dead Metal. If Justice League by Scott Snyder and James Tynion Ford Omnibus Volume 2 catch your attention, you can order your own copy in our eShop, comicsbugle.com. Your friendly neighborhood comic book shop in Europe. Accept the great catalog of collected, deluxe, and absolute editions, epic collections, and omnibuses. We guarantee you eco-friendly, Hulkproof packaging, free shipping in whole EU, and option to pre-order your comic book now and pay for it later. You can also split full price to 4 separate payments because we know how expensive these books can be. So check it out, comicsbugle.com. You can find direct links below this video. And that's all. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out any further videos. In our comment section, let us know what other books or topics would you like to see in our videos. And see ya, Bugles!